Hi everyone, it's great to be here. My name is Jan Blok and I'm here together with Donay. We are the founders of Donay. And Donay makes it possible to place incentives for on-demand software support. As all of you know, open source is everywhere. You're very likely using it every day, such as Android, Linux, developer tools like Eclipse, libraries like jQuery, a blogging platform like WordPress, databases like Hadoop or MySQL, the browsers like Chromium or Firefox, desktop applications like OpenOffice or LibreOffice, just to name a few. And some of these actually give rise to entire eco-spaces in their own right. Like we have 500,000 open or free Android apps. We have the entire Linux space. We have thousands of Eclipse and jQuery plugins. And many, many browser extensions. So open source is just huge. And all this software has two properties in common, which is bugs and missing features. And especially when it's open or free software, support can be hard to get. To give you an example, a couple of years ago, I used some open source, faced a bug, reported the developers, and they said, hey, we are open source. Please provide a patch. Back then, I didn't have the time, nor the in-depth knowledge to do so. But this got me wondering, how do I get support for this software? On the other hand, if you are a developer, bugs are part of life, but it's not the fun part. So what we have is a mismatch in knowledge and priority between the user and the developer. To overcome this, we are offering a service which allows you to pay or get paid directly from an issue page. As some of you know, an issue system is a bug and feature database. It registers incoming issues and keeps track of changes. So we're looking at an actual issue page here, like in a system called Redmine. And it lists a couple of fields. It has something like a subject, a description, a creation date, and, well, a whole lot other. And we offer integrations for all the major issue systems. And so it's an integration, shows a panel, as you can see on the right-hand side. So with 2 clicks, a user can place an incentive. So when clicked, we get to a page asking a couple of details about the incentive. As you can see, we capture the issue URL already, so you have to provide an amount. Optionally, you can provide an expiry date, and the next click would actually confirm the payment at the payment provider. So a nice thing to mention here is many users can place incentives on one issue. So crowdfunding is now a reality. Crowdfunding on bug and features. To make this as easy as possible, we actually change the panel when the developers are looking at an issue page. So with one click, they can reach out and ask for an incentive or list the issue for crowdfunding. As mentioned, we offer integrations for all the major issue systems, like Mantis, Jira, Track, and Bugzilla. And we take a 6% fee for each successful incentive. And we offer a fee to all the issue system hosters running our integration, which turns an issue system into a profit center. So if any of you are running an issue system, please find us in the alley. It's our intention to have our panel on every bug page, every feature request, and in every support system. This would be a massive distribution just to serve all of you. Bottom line, we are adding a monetization element to the entire open source market, a huge market already and still expanding. The measurable size alone is like 8 billion, which is huge. And we try to add like 1 billion in the coming years, so which would be a good thing for open source. The beauty is the system is not at all limited to open source. Our next focus will be the Apple and Google App Stores. So imagine a world where it's possible to get the support you really need, or where it's easy to get something improved. So together with you, software users and developers, we can disrupt quite a bit in the software development space. That's all. Thanks for your attention.
Judges?
So
Have you spent time talking to developers in the open source world that you would want to use this? And what have they said?
Yeah, sure. They are very happy so far, yeah.
But can you give us more context? Because, I mean, people build things for the open source community, typically for free, and then now you're asking people, when there's bugs in the things they build, to donate money to get the bugs fixed.
Well, actually,
most of the systems start or most of the projects start very enthusiastic. And when you get to a point when it's a year old, and then the interest diminishes. So to have a project active, even after like a longer time, because still people are using it, then an incentive might help to get things going.
But you've heard developers say, if I had incentives to keep these projects going, then I would keep them going.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you should include a slide in your deck with the feedback from the actual developers to show that there's a real pain point, because I'm not sure that I'm not sure that you're solving a problem that exists. So if you know that for a fact, put it into your deck.
What size incentive do they need, though? I mean, I had a hard time when I was listening to this quantifying. Is it $1,000? Is it $10? Is it $1 to fix something? What's the?
For bugs is like $40, $50, and for a feature is like $200, $300.
And a developer is going to spend time building a new feature for an open source project for $200? Can you send them to me? I have a lot of companies that have features.
A company wants sometimes an extension, a small extension to an open source product or service. And then you see the company paying like $200, $300 to get the feature in.
Right, but I'm saying, I don't know, I think a lot of people in this room look for developers to work on their stuff. Mm-hmm. If we could pay $200 to $300 for someone to do something and develop a feature, I think that's way, way, way under market.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to understand how are you getting developers to do that much work for that little money?
Okay, well, you have to keep in mind that normally there is no payment at all. So they can either do nothing or get $200.
But aren't they competing? The minute they start I think open source has a different ethos, right? You're contributing because you're part of the community, and you either work on open source or you work on a paid project, and this takes open source into the realm of a paid project. So instantly I'm making less per hour, whereas with open source, I acknowledge I'm doing work for free, even though I could make money somewhere else.
Yeah, I think you could see it as a means to get the attention for a bug, get something going on a feature. It's like not like a massive payment for so many hours to so many amount.
Have you considered doing something like Kickstarter, where people are pulling money together to pay for a feature? That's question one. And question two, why hasn't anyone done this before? Because I've certainly run into bugs, and I found the bug tracker, and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I wish I could do something to make this fixed. Why hasn't someone offered this feature before?
well, you can also list crowdfunding, features for feature or bugs for crowdfunding.
And get some people together to get a decent amount
So,
if the developer wants more.
If you have 10 people place an incentive of $200 on a specific feature, oh, that makes sense.
I was interested in the slide that said distribution, where you guys say you want to be on every page and every feature and every bug. How are you doing distribution now, and why would I, as Jira or any of those other companies, allow you to be on my page?
Well, we already have an integration for Jira, for example. So anyone running Jira can install it and use our system. So
what's the incentive for them to install?
Well, we provide a fee. We provide a fee for anyone running an issue system, so they can benefit from any money flowing around between users and developers.
And what's like the average that someone running Jira is going to walk away with at the end of a month from?
Well, we take a 6% fee, and we suggest them to also take 6%. But it's up to them, because it goes from the amount of their developers. So anything they take will be cut off from the part the developers receive.
Can you guys talk a little bit about your backgrounds? Are you heavily involved in the open source community? What have you built for it? And do you use this on your own projects?
I used loads of open source in the past. Yeah. I'm actually also a committer on various projects.
You're a man of very few words. Do you use your own do you use Donay on your open source projects?
Not yet.
No, okay. Why not?
Because we launched today. We launched today.
Why didn't you beta launch it or test it on your product? If you have your own stuff that you've been working on, why haven't you tested this to see if there was demand?
Yeah, but it's kind of hard. If you want to leave the testing like to an external party to be like to be tested as good as possible. So I can imagine it happening in the future, but we didn't so far. Well, it is running in our own issue system, but well, it makes no sense for us to like put money on our own stuff.
So what is a launch? Like, are you working with, what open source projects are you tracking now?
Currently, we have like one smaller open source hosting site which uses our stuff already. It's running there. Another one is trying, and we are in contact with the third one. So it's like we are building up the size. But eventually we want to go like real big, like the SourceForge and the GitHub.
So we're out of time. But great job, guys. That was Donay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.